there lives a girl, a young entrepreneur named Ada, who felt overwhelmed by the pressure to launch a startup, that is a business. She was worried about meeting deadlines, securing funding, and impressing investors. Initially, the pressure seemed crushing, and Ada doubted her abilities. However, instead of letting the pressure consume her, Ada decided to harness it as motivation. She began to view the pressure as a driving force to innovate, work harder, and push beyond her limits. As Ada navigated the challenges of entrepreneurship, she discovered that the pressure was forcing her to 1. Think creatively, 2. Prioritize effectively, 3. Build resilience. So, by facing and overcoming obstacles, Ada developed a growth mindset, becoming more confident and resilient in the face of adversity. By embracing the pressure and using it as a catalyst for growth, Ada successfully launched a startup, secured funding, and built a thriving business. What an interesting story, you agree with me? But there's a lesson from this story. There is something this story, there's a message this story is trying to pass across to you out there on how you can deal with pressure. But if you want to know what the lesson is about, don't leave your screen. Stay right to the end and you're going to get the lesson of the story. Yeah. So you're welcome back to my channel for those of you who have been with me all along. But if you're new here, you're seeing me for the first time, do not forget, this is where we explore the world of personal finance and self-improvement through books. So if this is something you like to hear, if it's something you feel you'll be interested in, then do well to sit to the end. Do well to check up our other videos. Do not miss out on any of them. My name is Mabel Franklin, and you know you can always call me Timbel. A lot of persons will see this video or would watch video from my channel and would not subscribe. So I don't know why, but I want you to please do me a favor. If you've ever watched a video, or if you watch this video today, if you're seeing me for the first time and you watched this video today and you enjoyed it, please do well to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button so you'd always see content like this whenever it comes up, and turn on your bell notification. Alright, so in today's video, we continue the review of our book called The Diary of a CEO. Yeah, you all know this book. There's so many laws in it, valuable laws for that matter, that I don't want us to miss out on. So I want to always bring out those points to you so that you'd be well informed, so that you can decide to get the book, buy the book to read, so you get other laws and values from it, or you'd start implementing the points I share with you immediately with immediate effect. Yes. So you're welcome. In today's video, we'll be reviewing this book and I'll be sharing with you from pillar 3 of this book. Remember I said from the previous videos that this book, it's actually an interesting read for me. It was an interesting read. I was able to get laws. It contains 33 laws of business and life, and it is written by Stephen Bartlett. Stephen Bartlett is not a small person, so you might be wondering, why should I listen to Stephen Bartlett? Why should I read book from him? But you should know that if you go Google him right now, you're going to see a lot of information about him. He has experience, he has wealth of experience, and in this book he shares those experiences, and even he went as far as interviewing other persons, other experts in different areas, so that this book can come together for us to learn. So that I can put this book together for us to learn. So don't think he's someone who is good at marketing, number one. He's someone who actually founded the business when he was just 21 years old. Or 22 years old, yeah, if I can remember vividly. He's someone who has floated a business from crash, like from the scratch. He floated a business from the scratch down to the top. So he's not a small person. He's a co-founder, a founder, and also an advisor to top companies you see today. The likes of Uber, the likes of Apple, Amazon, those were his clients. So don't think this book is a small book. It's not a small book. There's so much information to learn. So this book is divided into 4 different pillars. The very first pillar is the self, the second pillar is the story, then the third is the philosophy, the fourth, the theme. So I've actually brought out points from the pillar 1 and pillar 2 in our previous videos. But in today's video, we'll be considering my top laws, my key takeaways I want to share with you from this book, from this particular pillar 3. That is the philosophy of life and business. What are the philosophies that we all need to abide to? So I'm just going to be sharing you 3 points, 3 top laws that resonated with me from pillar 3, and in that way encouraging you to go read and get every information, to get the other laws, to go through the laws and implement in your business and also in your life. Okay, what is pillar 3 all about? It says that this pillar is about the personal and professional philosophies that great people believe and live by, and how those philosophies result in behavior. So a behavior that leads to greatness. We all know that your philosophy is actually the set of beliefs, values, or principles that guides your behavior. So that's what philosophy is: a set of values, beliefs you have, or principles that guides your behavior in life. So that's more like they are the fundamental belief that underpin your action. So that is what philosophy means. What set of beliefs. So we now want to see how you're going to you learn what philosophies results or will lead to greatness, results in behaviors that will lead to greatness for you. That is what this pillar 3 is about. So while I was going through it, the very first law from pillar 3 that actually synced down well with me, that resonated with me, was you must outfail the competition. So this is taken from law 21 of this book. You must outfail the competition. So like I would always do, whenever I read the laws, I try to reflect on the words to see if I can actually put a meaning to it before I read the passage or the pages from that particular law. This particular law proves that the higher your failure rate, the higher your chances of success. It will inspire you to start failing much faster than you currently are. The truth is, when I read this, I realized he's not the first person saying this. This is not the first time I've heard that line. Fail faster. Yeah, from other of my mentors, I've heard fail faster, because the faster, besides the higher your failure rate, that is the higher the chances of success. A lot of persons are actually so engulfed with fear that they do not actually move ahead in life. They are engulfed with fear. They don't want to make that move. They don't want to fail. They're scared. Yeah, they have fear of failure, fear of failing or making mistakes. But come on, how would you grow? How would you grow in life without you making mistakes or failing? Though we are taught in school not to fail, yeah, because if you make mistake, you'll be caned in school, you'll be flogged. But come on, if you don't fail faster, because for each mistake you made, for each mistake you've gone through or encounter, you will definitely learn something from it. Always think of what lesson is this showing or is this teaching me from every mistake, and see it as an experience that enables you to grow in life or to succeed. Because for every mistake or failure, there is a lesson, there is that thing that you can see that would be a ladder to you achieving your next goal in life. They say, therefore, failure is power. And if you want to increase your chances of success, you must increase your failure rate. So this actually resonated with me. A lot of companies you see today that are actually doing well financially or they are profitable, it's not because they never failed or made mistakes. There is no way. Like the example given here is booking.com. We all know booking.com. Whenever you want to book an hotel or an hotel, anywhere you're going to use booking.com. Now, do you know that Booking.com is the largest and most successful hotel booking site in the world? But, like every industry leader, it started small, broken, and behind. So there's always this story, there's always this starting point. Every company you see today doing so well, I've gone through a lot of misshapes in life. So you shouldn't be scared of failing, and at that point, that doesn't mean you shouldn't take calculated risks. Yes, some people are so scared of failing to the point that they don't even take risks at all. But forgetting that the fact you don't take risks, then you're actually risking it all. If you don't take risks, you're risking it all. So this particular point, it went down deep, very deep with me. And I felt I should share with you so that you'll be motivated, so that you'll be able to get that point and start looking for areas to make adjustments in your lives. It says failure is not a bad thing. I would repeat again, failure is not a bad thing. And to increase your chances of success, you need to increase your failure rates. Every time something is tried and found not to work, valuable information is gained that can be shared with your team, your organization, or even your family, your relationship. It's a valuable information is gained every time something does not work. When you found that you've tried something and it did not work, there's an information, a valuable information. Even if you don't get so much information, you're already a step higher, because if you're going to try that thing again, you do it better and faster because you've learned something from the previous experience. So failure equals to feedback. Then feedback equals to knowledge. Knowledge equals to power. So failure gives you power. Think about it. I'm sure you'd understand. This point will resonate with you. If you just pause this video and think deeply about this. It says failure gives you power, because when you fail, you get feedback from it. You gain valuable insight or knowledge. It is that feedback that leads to knowledge. When you have that knowledge, you all know that knowledge is power. So do not be scared of failing. Do not be scared of failing. Alright, so let me move to the next point that got to me. Like, the next key takeaway for me is taken from Law 23 of this book. It says, don't be an ostrich. I don't know so much before now about an ostrich, but which is why I made sure I devoured each of these pages, because I wanted to understand how can I not be like an ostrich? Come on, how can we not be like an ostrich? So in this particular law, it says, it teaches us why Stephen Bartlett's biggest professional mistake in business was behaving like an ostrich. So this law will basically teach us how to avoid being an ostrich, because it says in your career, being an ostrich will get you killed. So what you're supposed to be like, what are you supposed to act like? You're supposed to act like a lion. Yeah. Rah. You're supposed to act like a lion in whatever you do, in your business, in your career, for you to actually grow. So let's see, what is the ostrich effect? What is it about ostrich we want to bring out here? It says, when an ostrich senses danger, it buries its head in the sand. Go and make your research. When it senses danger, an ostrich buries its head in the sand. The idea is that if the ostrich can just hide from the threat, the danger will eventually pass. That's the whole idea. So we as humans, we are no different. When dealing with difficult information, situations or conversations, we tend to be like the ostrich and bury our heads in the sand too. So as humans, we are hardwired to avoid discomfort. We stop ourselves from checking our bank accounts when we know we've overspent. We avoid difficult conversations that we don't want to have. And more problematically, we delay booking that doctor's appointment to avoid receiving bad news about our health. Think of it, when you do all these delays, when you avoid conversations, when you do not check your account balance, be accountable for yourself, when you're not accountable or intentional about your life, your business, your career, even your health, what is the result of it? What do you think will be the result? Are you going to get any benefit for that? When you're spending, you know you're overspending, you've overspent, and you're not going back to actually check your account balance so that you can checkmate yourself. You're hiding your head in the sand just like the ostrich. So we do not want to do that. It says we should avoid being an ostrich. Don't be an ostrich. That is what he's just saying here. That's the message he's trying to pass. Don't be an ostrich. Avoiding uncomfortable realities and difficult conversation is unhelpful. Some persons will just bottle up informations like, okay, you're not happy with someone, for example. Let's dive it down to your relationship, for instance. Then there are things you ought to talk about, or there are information this other person needs to get, but you just keep hiding your head. You keep hiding your head into the sand. For what reasons do you think that will be helpful for the relationship? He said, what he just say, man up, face whatever is facing you boldly and get it sorted. Be accountable and intentional in your business and in your personal relationship. He said we must recognize what isn't right, assess what we can do about it, share our findings, and get to the truth, however challenging that might be. I want to repeat this line. He said, avoiding uncomfortable realities. It's your reality, face it. And difficult conversations. A lot of persons avoid difficult conversations. He said that I don't want to talk about it, please. We'll talk about it later. You keep pushing and pushing it. How far will you keep pushing that conversation? You have to have that conversation. Avoiding that or avoiding it totally is not helpful at all. It won't be helpful even in your business and your personal relationship. So what must we do in order for us not to be an ostrich? He said we must recognize what isn't right. Recognize it, that this isn't right, or this is not going well, or I'm not doing this right. Then assess what we can do about it to improve. That is where improvement comes in, self-improvement, which will also affect your finances and you yourself. He said after doing that, share your findings. If you're working with your team, a team of persons in your company, share your findings, or your boss, share your findings, share what you've discovered, what you feel you can do about that particular issue that isn't going right. Then get to the truth, no matter how challenging that might be. He said if you want long-term success in business, relationships, and life, you have to get better at accepting uncomfortable truths as fast as possible. I know this might be sounding so hard or so real for you to accept, but that is just the truth. If you want long-term success in business, in your relationship, or in your life, he said you have to get better at accepting uncomfortable truths as fast as possible. He said when you refuse to accept an uncomfortable truth, you're choosing to accept an uncomfortable future. So choose for yourself. Interesting, isn't it? So the last takeaway for me, for you today is you must make pressure your privilege. So this is where that story I told at the beginning of this video comes to light. This is where you get the sense of that video, where we spoke about Ada, a young entrepreneur who actually felt overwhelmed by the pressure to launch a startup. There's a startup business. She wants to have a business, but there's this pressure that comes with it, and you know that's the truth. For those of you who are working for someone at the moment and you feel you want to open your own business, or you want to have your own, you want to actually stop working for someone, there's this first pressure that can actually push you back from forging ahead, or that can be a motivator. You can turn it to be a motivator, to moving, pushing you to do all it takes to get that done. Because starting a business, what you'll be worried about is you have deadlines you have to meet up with, getting the store, you need money, you have to secure funds for that. When you get the store in this part of our world, you have to make sure you put it up to standard so that when people walk in, they will be comfortable and satisfied with your service, because that is what they look at first. Yes, so you need funds. You're thinking, how can I secure funds? All of those thoughts or pressures can push you away from actually achieving that goal. So it says you must make pressure your privilege. Don't take it negatively, but use it for your good, use it for your advantage. That pressure you're feeling, oh my God, there's so much to accomplish, there's so much tax to get, so much tax to achieve before I can get this. Use it to your advantage. In that way, you're going to aim higher. He said this particular law teaches you how comfort is slowly killing us mentally, physically, and emotionally. It will help us to understand how and why we must make life's pressures our privilege. Life will pressure you, but no panic. That is it. Life will pressure you, but don't panic. Use it to the best of your ability. It says pressure is a subjective situation, not an objective emotion. And in the presence of a strong pressure, one person's stress is another person's pleasure. So, one important way to improve your relationship with your pressure, is to remind yourself of the positive privilege, meaning, and context it exists in. Remind yourself of the result of what you're pressured for. Is it worth it? That journey you're about to embark on, that goal that is shaking your head, that is making you tremble, is it worth it? Is it worth that effort? Think of the end, put the end in mind, and you see that pressure is to become something that would push you towards greatness. The objective isn't to try and get rid of your pressures. That is not what we're saying here. When we say use pressure for your privilege, we're not saying try what you want to do and just get rid of that pressure. It says the objective is so you will change your relationship with it altogether. You have to change your relationship with that pressure. Don't look at that pressure as a wall. Don't make that pressure become a wall to you in order to break through or to continue that chase, so that goal in which you want to achieve, but rather let it be a ladder that will climb you to wherever you're going to, wherever you want to get to. See, pressure doesn't have to be a negative thing. So I've actually found myself in this situation. There was something I was trying to do recently, and I noticed I was too pressured. It's like I was rushing everything. Everything wasn't just, I was so unsettled because there are a lot of deadlines to meet up with. But I bet you what I've learned from this is I shouldn't allow that pressure or see it or understand that pressure in a negative way or see it as a negative thing. What I would have done to improve my relationship with that pressure in which I am having then is to think ahead as to, okay, this particular goal or this particular dream or this particular task I have to achieve, is it worth it? Is it worth every fight, everything I put into it in order for me to get to where I want to get to in life? And that is what actually helped me to continue on that journey, on that track, and not thinking about the pressure in a negative way. So when you frame pressure in a positive way or correctly, you have to frame it in your your brain correctly, then it can be energizing. So what you need to do is recognizing, owning, and using pressure can be a powerful tool when it comes to achieving our aims in business and in our life. He said comfortable and easy are short-term friends, but long-term enemies. So don't always resort or just stay in your comfort zone. Get out from your comfort zone. I've heard this countless times from my mentors. You have to step out from that comfort zone, because the truth is, humans, we are wired to just stay in that place that is so comfortable for us. And tomorrow you blame your village people, or you blame your relative, or you blame your parents for not making you succeed in life. You, as you come into this world, the day you were born, you are given a chance to create the kind of life you individually want to have. You don't blame anybody for your problem. Because you've chosen comfort or the easy way. A lot of persons choose that, forgetting that, fine, he said it can be the short-term friends. It can be your short-term friend, because yes, you've been enjoying every moment, but long-term, it will be your enemy. What happens when you are old? You'll be waiting for your children to come and take care of you. When you're supposed to step up and do things, make things happen, you didn't. Waiting for, when you're old, you're retired, you're not at home. You become that elderly one, or that grandparent that nobody wants to go and see. That shouldn't be our aim. So if you're looking for growth, choose the challenge. That is just the highlight for me to you. From Stephen Bartlett to us. And I felt I should share with you. So thank you so much for watching down to the end. I'm sure you gained value for your time with me today. I'm always excited when I get to do this with you all, and I hope I'm able to encourage you to go pick up that book and read. I have series of books. That's a goal I have for this year, to read one book a month. So if you're new here and you want to join me on this journey, I'll be listing out the books, so you can start wherever you want to. Or if you want to join me for the month, this particular month we're reading the Cashflow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. Amazing book too. So by next month, I'll be talking about it. I'll be sharing my points with you. We'll be reviewing that book together. I can't wait to do that. So thank you so much. Do not forget to subscribe. Drop your comments. Tell me, what is that point that resonated with you, that you feel is actually making sense, like it's logical, it's reasonable for you to think in that direction. Let me know in the comment section so we can talk about it. I'll see you again in the next video.